Good day. Welcome to Morning Musings. I am here again with Tara and from TSW Life Coaching. We kind of had a little bit of a discussion earlier. We both do, I guess before I get into it, we both do soul es or Tara does the soul essence, and we do a weekly um gathering over Zoom where the two of us, I give messages and readings and I read the energy of what's going on and Tara pulls in the essences. Typically it's plants. She does do the acupressure points and as well as crystals. So pulling in the essences to heal and to get what our body is and our soul is needing. And we do that. That's weekly on Wednesdays if you want. There will be a link in the description. And we're here to talk today about detachment. Welcome, Tara.
Hello. Yeah, I about our weekly, I want to add, it's so fun because we're so connected, you and I, and we have this beautiful little flow between us,
Yeah,
which is lovely.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's I love it because I can say something and Tara's already got it all figured out. It's like there's that energy of reading what we need to within each other and for the people that's in the room. So, yes.
exactly. It's so fun when I'm reading a flower essence and you're like, when you pop a card up that you'd already pulled.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyway, sorry. On to
Yeah.
detachment.
That's just it's fun. It's fun. I love that we do that. And
Me too.
we also, if you are we are from Alberta. So if you are kind of in the vicinity, we do also do group ones. If you want to call us to come and do that, just contact one of us. Yeah, so back to detachment. Um, uh, I'm gonna start with, for me, I have had to practice really hard, not practice, but really anchor in detachment in my readings, in my healings. Uh, because well, Tara too is such a deep empath. And for me, it's about when I detach from people and my readings and my healings, I have to because my client will leave and then I am losing sleep. I'm feeling all their pain. And what can I do to help that kind of a detachment? I needed to really, really work hard on and to be able to not bring it in as my own.
Mm. That's a huge point. And such an empath. I'm going to call it wound because that's what it is. Um, because so many empaths, born being empaths, just learn that the only way that they can kind of feel calm is by taking that in. And so they soothe everyone around them. It's really a self-soothing mechanism because it's like, I can breathe because everyone else is calm, but then they end up their energies full of everyone else's crap, and but that's how they learn to cope. But what detachment brings up for me, and what I've also had to do a lot of practicing with, is detaching from thoughts, really. That's a huge thing for me. I'm Aries, and my empathic coping skill was to ruminate and to process and to that was my safety mechanism, was just that rumination, that overthinking, that processing. um and so I've really had to learn to detach from, that's a thought, doesn't mean, like, and that's where I think my introduction with mindfulness, what really resonates with me about mindfulness is not attaching to the thoughts, because your mind is never going to stop. It's never going to quiet. I
Yeah.
mean, you can get it to quiet to a point, but it's meant to think. That's what it does.
Yeah.
And so it's about going, okay, thanks.
Yeah. Being, and a lot of those thoughts aren't even your own.
Oh,
and we attach to those thoughts, then we attach to judgment, and then we attach it to our old life, or the things that we have bought into society or whatever, right? The limited beliefs. Detachment goes into everything: timelines, people, being in control. Like I said, the judgment. There is just so many, the stories we attach to everything. And I personally, and I feel like we are moving, Earth is moving, the collective is moving, where what did you do yesterday? Oh my goodness, I have to really think about it, because I've detached from that timeline. I've detached myself from even a conversation I had an hour ago. It's not that it's meaningless. There's no judgment there. There's nothing I need to hold on to. Uh, you learn what you learn, you move how you move, and when we can really detach from and just be in our being, powerful.
Hugely powerful. And there was something that you said there that I was like, oh, about like, what when people ask what did you do yesterday and stuff like that, that is so huge. Um, because it doesn't matter, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I know we were just talking about this. I sometimes trigger people because I'm so detached from, like even I did an event this weekend and it was like, well, what part of your chapter you're reading? I don't know, whatever comes, and when you're so connected and so like you said in the flow and you have no emotional attachment to um like the old me would have been, I need to know what chapter because I need to read it like 5 times to make sure that I don't screw the words up. And it's like, wow, if people think I'm an idiot, then so be it. Like there's no attachment to that. Oh, and
Just
that's,
show up.
yeah, exactly. I'm going to show up and be me. And if I make a mistake, if I, screw up words or whatever,
How it's meant to be.
that's yeah, and that's the old ego attachment to I have to look perfect, I have to say perfect, I have to, and that whole ego attachment to it. And I've lost a lot of that, which I was going to say can be when you're moving through it and the more you detach from, I find a lot of times I'm like, am I just like self-centered or am I just because I don't really care what people's response is.
Yep.
And there's this part that I don't know, maybe you can do you know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm trying to say? Because it's
Yeah.
not coming to me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is a space that you are complete without having anything outside of you to shift or change. It's like, we have a conversation with people and we go, oh man, I wish I would have said that. Well, actually, that is attachment, because things were said how they were meant to be said in that moment. And sometimes it's a story we tell ourselves, oh, I need to tell them this, I need to tell them that. And for us to really be not attached to an outcome, not because when we attach ourselves, like, we have goals, we attach ourselves to that outcome. But what if we are in flow enough that that outcome is just the bare minimum of where you could reach, right? And being in a space where everything is expansive and infinite. And why wouldn't we want that rather than having the control of how things are? That's a different kind of avenue than what we were just talking about. But everything is everything, right? Everything
It,
is attachment. We attach ourselves to people. We attach ourselves to, the contracts we make, our spouses, all of the things. So when we can just be as much as possible, wow, it is like it's powerful. It truly, I don't know, have another word for it. It's powerful. It is enlightenment. It's all of it.
it's powerful, but it's very peaceful.
Yes.
It's very much yeah, just a space of just being, like you said, and that is huge to just be in that space. And going back to how you kind of started it, um, it feels very, you go through this point and it still comes up, but you get where you go, am I apathetic? Like, because you're so used to putting so much into your relationships, or like you said, the control, that ego control of, I need to say the right thing to make this, even, if you're used to people pleasing, I need to make this person feel good, or so I need to say the right thing, or watch what I say, or this person doesn't like swearing, so no swear words, or, but when you're just being, it's like, it just comes as it's going to come.
Yeah.
And there's no, like you said, there's no agenda, there's no expectation, there's no, meh, it is.
Yeah. And I feel like, when we talk about people, it's like love me or hate me. This is who I am. And if someone sees you in a light that is like, well, I would never do that or do it that way, that's an attachment to an outcome. That's an attachment and judgment of how this person should be for you. And we don't need to have to be or look outside of ourselves for someone to be a certain way or do a certain thing.
I was going to say it's such a space of self love too, because
Yes.
you're not looking outside of yourself for that approval, for that validation, for that. And I mean, I have to, maybe I haven't gotten there yet, but I mean, I still like when people validate me.
Yep.
Um, and I still like when people challenge me because it's like, okay. But again, it's that from a detached place. It's like, this is what I feel like I need to say, and that's it. It's not that if they challenge me, and I have to be very, very aware of that, that I don't go into that old pattern of, well, I'll show you, I'll teach you, and, try and attach to an outcome
Yep.
or an expectation that they're going to understand me. It's like, no, I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say.
Yep.
Or, yeah, so it's a very, like you said, very powerful, very beautiful space to be in. Takes a lot of work to get there. I'm gonna say that because it's that conditioning and it's that wounding. And like we talked about, it's the empath, that's used to appeasing everyone, even if you wouldn't label yourself as a people pleaser, it's appeasing everyone, even if it's energetically by
Yeah.
setting that up.
And there's a space here of acceptance as well. And we want acceptance, but that is our ego wanting that acceptance, not our heart. Because if we truly have that true love of self and centeredness, then we don't need to worry about any kind of attachment to anything, really. Nothing is real. We attach ourselves to physical things, things like that. Um, but I feel like attachment pulls us out of from our heart into our head easily, because we're looking for control. We're looking for, all of the things that come with that.
Mhm. Which takes us out of our authenticity because you're on an agenda then.
Yep.
And there's so many layers to that. Like so many layers that have I personally have worked through where I've gone, I'm detached. And then it's like, oh no, no, I'm not. No,
Yep.
there's still little cords, there's still little attachments, there's still expectations. And yeah. And I do have to say, and I don't want to sound negative, but it's a lot of work because it's constant like scrutiny, and not and not in a judgmental way, but it's a constant awareness. That's a better word.
Yep.
Awareness of, you know, and just for me, I'd be curious to see how you are too. I feel it within my body. Like I can feel my body starting to tighten up, and I'm like, oh. there's an expectation, let
Yep.
it go. And then it's like, and I still get into that because, I mean, you think about it, it's ran in our systems, well, me, 49 years, probably more of doing that. And yeah, so it's a lot to break that habit.
Yeah. And it truly stops us from moving forward in life in many, many ways in our own authenticity. It truly does. It's like, oh, what are they going to think? Or, what if, I don't have time for this? So I just not going to move forward. There's things that and it stops us. It stops us in our tracks and stops us from being authentic and chasing the things that are going to bring us the most joy in life in all aspects. I sometimes, like you talked about the apathy, I'm like, I will meet people and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I've met you before." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." You know, and it's because I have detached from it. Like I have so many people, "Oh, you've read for me before." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like I don't want people to not feel important because they are, but I can't attach myself to like hundreds of people that I've read for. I will often know that someone said something important to me and that will stick, but I don't always remember who told me it or when they told me it. And I will have to go back into my memory bank and go, when was this? I know it was last week. What did I do last week? Who did I even talk to last week that told me this tidbit of information that is going to help me, right? I struggle with finding those pieces because I do detach myself from so much. I like after we're done this, I don't go back and listen to it. I'm done. It gets sent and and it's posted, right? So there is a space here to not have to have everything perfect and edited and all of the things. Because then you're attaching to an outcome. It's just like doing a recording, a live. Can you do a live on socials and be okay with everything that was said and done and post it, right?
Mhm.
There's been many times you and I have tried to do lives and they haven't worked, and we just post what it is because it just didn't get connected or it did whatever, right? And and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And underneath that, I feel like, especially because you brought up socials, I feel a lot of that attachment is that worthiness. It's that they don't feel worthy within themselves at whatever level, because there's definitely different levels of it.
Yeah.
But that, and worthy might not be the word, or
Superficial.
yeah, it's to some level of not feeling good enough that it has to, they have, the ego control has to make it
Yeah.
good enough so that they show that they're good enough.
Yeah.
And I was going to point out with us, um, people will ask me, after a session, what were the flower sins that came up for me? I don't have a clue. I don't know. And that's so, I know you're the same. You're like, I don't know. And a lot of times when I write too, when I read it, I'll get quite emotional because I'm like, damn, that was good. And I'm like, but I don't remember writing it, or,
Yeah.
like who wrote that kind of thing, because yeah, it comes. And I think with the detachment, um, we're so connected to our soul and our higher self and and spirit. Like I'm thinking of more of the writing right now, or sessions, that it just comes, and it's just, we are truly what empaths are meant to be,
Yeah.
that conduit for the energy, not the container.
Yeah.
So we have no need to hold on to it.
Yeah. And and you think about when you're hosting something, do you have an agenda? Like first 9 o'clock a.m. to 9:15, we're going to do an icebreaker, a retreat type thing. And then 9:15 to we don't give ourselves any room to navigate, to be in flow. Like I hosted a retreat a couple years ago and I had like we had the beginning thing. We had one session and then we had lunch, one session, and then the rest was flow. It was just like, okay, how is this flowing? We need more time for this. We can bring in this. You're so creative, and when we're on that agenda, it doesn't allow us to be creative. It doesn't allow us to just go, okay, I need to pull something else out here because this went way faster than what I thought. So now let's plunk in something, right? And we're kind of taught to prove what we're gonna to give people, such as a retreat. I'll just use that for an example. I'm gonna give you this. This is what your money's gonna get you, type thing, right? Rather than we're going to be in flow. How many people would sign up? Well, what are we going to do? We're going to meditate? Are we going to read a book? Are we going to journal? Are we going to, right? So
Yeah.
we're so conditioned to have it all figured out, and how we're going to get there. And it doesn't allow for any creativity to flow and to move outside of that box.
And I think a lot of that, like what you're talking about, the retreat and stuff like that, is that has been our safety mechanism. The control is our safety mechanism. And that is the only way we feel safe. But again, coming back to when you've done a lot of the inner work and you feel safe within your being, then you can let that go and you feel safe. Um, but every level of control feels like that's going to make us safe, but it doesn't. It just keeps us in a stress state. And I'm thinking of like our nervous system right now, all of that control is keeping us in that stress state. And it's keeping us on that hypervigilance. It's keeping us on overthinking. It's keeping us on ruminating. Because that's the other thing is like we talked about thinking afterwards. You know, like when somebody leaves, it's like, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have. That is all ego, which I feel our nervous system is a physical representation of our ego.
Yep.
And the more we learn to calm that and soothe that, the more we can feel safe being with the I have no idea what's going to happen today. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth right now.
Yep.
Um, because we feel safe within ourselves
That's
rather
right.
than looking for that safety outside of ourselves.
That's right. And it takes us out of that fight or flight mode all of the time. And that's why our nervous systems are just crazy. And like, think about being space for someone. Are you being space, or are you, thinking about what you need to say? How do you, for me, I have a pen or pencil here, right? And I always have a piece of paper because you say something and it triggers something within me. I'm not holding it to have the outcome. I just write a word down, and if it retains as we continue to talk, I bring it out, right? I don't have an attachment to having to have it said or holding on to, I need to say this to get my point across. I don't do that. It's just what I do is I zero attachment. I will work on clients and it'll be quiet. We'll be doing Reiki or whatever, and I don't talk and I go write stuff down because I don't want attachment to it. I've forgotten that, this is happening in this system of your body, and I just I if I hold on to it, I think about it. And if I'm thinking about it, then I'm attaching to it. That's my
Mhm.
how I kind of flow anyway. Yeah.
I was gonna say you were so when you were talking, you were like detaching from
Yeah.
like it was like flowing out, flowing out.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And truly that is like I said, I say this to all the empaths that come to me that are like stressed. It's like you're a conduit for the energy, not a container.
Yeah.
We are just supposed to be allow the energy to move through us,
Yeah.
not attached to it in any way.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no judgment there because it takes, we are not taught that. We are taught in our society, we are conditioned to hang on to or to control or to, like have expectations or even like things like vision boards and things like that are holding on to expectations and it's like yeah, it takes you out of flow.
Yeah.
It's that I just feel like I have to say this. It's the wounded masculine because you talked about creativity. It's that wounded masculine that sucks the creativity out of us and
Yeah.
keeps us out of that divine, feminine, flowing, free, creative energy
Yeah.
because it's trying to make it be what it's meant, what it thinks it should be.
Yeah. And vision boards, I personally feel there's nothing wrong with them, but you have to be in flow for that. That's not just the ceiling, right? It is, yes, I want to be a healer. I want to be whatever. Yes, but you have to be in flow to be beyond that if that's what it is, or notice that I'm focused, I want to take my Reiki, but then you're so focused on taking it that you end up with the wrong instructor and there's just zero energy between the two of you or whatever. That's just an example. You have to still be in flow. There's nothing wrong with dreams and goals and the things like that, but you can't have an attachment to the way you think an outcome has to be.
Yeah. And it's about being in flow with our dreams and everything too. It's
Yep.
about,
'Cause-
um, okay, well, at this point, this is where my dream is, but I'm open. I'm open to
yeah.
see what comes. And so, and with the action thing, you're absolutely right. Like if you are trying to create something, it's inspired action, not doing it because, oh, it's on my checklist, so,
Yeah.
or it's on my vision board. It's like doing it because it's inspired.
That's right. And what you are inspired to do today might not be what you're inspired to do tomorrow, or you're inspired to do something, you got what it you needed from it to learn whatever or to go through something or whatever. Now you can detach from it, let it go to in order to bring in the next thing that you needed this lesson for to. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. I was gonna
Um,
say, sorry, go ahead.
no, go.
I was gonna say, I find sometimes even with what you said, like if I'm inspired to do something, it's even being detached from what that looks like or why.
Yeah.
Because lots of times our ego will grab onto that too. It's like, oh, I'm inspired to write. Okay, this is gonna be my new book or whatever. And it's like, no. And learning to that's been a hard one for me too. Because of course, once I'm like, okay, I'm inspired to write, well, this must be for, and then I attach to it. But it's like, no, just be with flow. And who knows? I'm finding stuff that I wrote like 3 years ago that I want to use now. And it's like, okay, that's why, like that's when it came through. That's when I needed it to come through or whatever. It taught me what I needed to.
Yeah.
And then it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go with it, or it didn't turn into what I thought it was going to turn into. But now it's coming up again,
Yeah. And it
you
never
know?
looks how you think it's going to look. And how, and I don't know if this is really a question, but how do we be a complete channel if we are trying to be detached or attached to something? Like you think about your writing. If you're attached to, I'm going to finish this chapter today, I'm going to sit down and it's going to be about this. So you have an expectation. How do
Mhm.
you be the channel that maybe isn't exactly what you thought it should be about? You can't channel that. You're just inspired action without a channel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say? No, I'm just kidding. I know.
I channeled that. I don't know.
I know. It's inspired action with an expectation.
Yeah,
And that's where it's like what I got the visual of is it's trying to flow with the river, but making the river try and flow through your little box
yeah,
and trying to contain it in some way
yeah,
rather than just letting it be what it's going to be.
yeah, yeah,
And I feel like I have to say this. Along my journey, I've read a lot of books, listened to a lot of books, and people talk about spiritual concepts like this, like being detached. And they're like, oh, it's easy. This is not. I mean, I just want to say that. And I don't feel like I have it all figured out or like this is easy. Like I said at the beginning, it takes awareness. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I want to be that way, know that it takes consciousness and it takes awareness and it takes scrutiny and a lot of unconditioning. So as easy as it sounds, I would just detach from it. It takes you choosing that in every moment.
Oh, and it, like I said, it's taken me years to figure out what not to attach myself to certain things. And it is a complete mindset because you catch yourself, oh, I wish I would have said this or whatever. Okay, no, meant to be how it's meant to be, detachment. And then eventually you just show up. And like there's been many times like I I prepare sort of for when we do soul essences. I sit in the energy. I'm preparing for what energies are coming in, but I don't sit and going, oh, I got to talk about this and this and this. I am just a complete channel. I sit in the energy though. So is that attachment? Not, well, I don't feel that it is, but um, it's being in the flow of the energy
And I think like there's no
without,
right way to do it.
yeah,
However you do it is how you do it. Um, and you're the only one that knows if you're detached or not.
yeah,
Not you specifically,
yeah, yeah.
um,
I get what
but
you're
like
saying.
I had a thing um with family just come up where I realized how even when I thought all the work that I'd done that I wasn't attached to anymore, but there's that still, and I'm going to say the wounded little inner me that was still hanging on. And, you know, oh, if I say it this way or if they understand me this way, then they'll love me more. And it's like, yep, still attachment. And she has blossomed the inner me, the little inner me. And I've realized now that she's no longer is hanging on to that attachment.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it's beautiful.
One of these.
Yeah. And yeah, and so and yeah, and like I said, so it's something that constantly grows and morphs and being in flow with, and it comes when you're aware
Yeah,
to go, okay, yep. And even like you said, after it's like you'll be like, oh, I was really attached to that. You know, that's why I feel so icky right now, or why I feel so frustrated, or even the other way, even why I feel so yay, because there was some kind of attachment to it,
yeah. And
um, rather than just feeling like a state of peace,
that's right.
which can feel apathetic.
Yeah. And you even think about timelines, like we have an appointment, and this is how we live in a world that we have a calendar and timelines. We have to meet at a certain time, right? Or you have an appointment at a certain time and you have to, like, how much frustration have we had trying to get to an appointment on time because we've left late, right? It takes us out of our whole being. It takes us out of flow. It takes us out of, and we can't really change some things like that. But we're moving away from that. We're moving away from, well, I'll meet you in the morning. When I get there, I get there,
Yep,
you know?
exactly.
So,
Which definitely triggers a lot of others
oh, yeah,
who
yep,
are still in that, and no judgment, who are
yeah,
still in that conditioning of it has to look like this, or
yeah, yeah. And there's times, yes, my time is valuable, 100%. We need to respect that in people too, if you're talking about meeting someone. But if you set a concrete time, then that's maybe different. But we're moving away from being so concrete and in control.
yeah, I agree.
I think that's it for today. Thank you again. I always love our conversations.
I do see that was a good one.
Yeah. So if you are interested in the Soul Essence Revival Wednesday night Zoom or even your own personal reading, healing, please contact us. We do them one-to-one in your own energy. And we look forward to next time on Monday, or I say Monday morning musings. It's often Monday. But yeah, And we never know what we're talking about. We just show up that day and see what the energy is. So, no attachment.
Yep.
Thank you, Tara, again.
Thank you. See you Wednesday.
You bet. Bye.